Welcome to another episode of Office Hours, the recap, where we go a little deeper into the discussion that we had in our Discord room over on chatbotbuilder.ai. Let's get started. Hey guys, it's Kim. Welcome back to the podcast, your backstage pass to everything we covered in this week's Office Hours. If you weren't there, buckle up, because I'm about to drop some serious knowledge bombs on you. This week, we kicked off updates on Denise's city project. She is deep in conversations with her mayor and city council contacts, mapping out automation solutions that serve both the public side, like a community portal that residents can use, and then behind-the-scenes workflows that city staff can rely on. Think streamlined permit requests, automated notifications for public hearings. That's what's great about this CBB community. We rally around each other and brainstorm and integrate ideas and troubleshoot roadblocks. That's what we do. Next, we drove into our favorite lawn care service demo. You heard us talk about simple appointment booking bots before. Some of us have already made bots for lawn care service businesses. But this week we shifted gears toward internal automations that help solo operators run smoother. Denise had a specific example of someone she wanted to help do a better job of sending out his invoices. He's just starting out, doesn't really have a website yet, doesn't really need a full bot or have anywhere to use that yet, but he could use some internal tools, some internal help. So we talked about how we could build something for this business owner that would help him get those invoices out better. And first we identified how he's currently doing the invoice system or not doing it, and then tried to figure out the logic of how we could build something that would work for him. And it was a real treat. We had a live build of an AI-powered invoice tool. We hooked up Google Sheets to pull customer data. We used prompt chaining in OpenAI to craft a polished HTML invoice, and then we embedded a Stripe payment button so that they could pay with one click in the email that they received. It was a deep technical walkthrough. And the takeaways? Custom field mapping in your spreadsheets is non-negotiable. And a well-designed GPT flow can handle everything from data retrieval to on-the-fly document generation. It was pretty cool. And of course, questions around PayMeGPT came up again. Everyone's buzzing when it will launch. What will the final use case look like? How can we monetize our own GPT creations on the platform? All of those questions that everybody's asking each week. We hashed out its evolving API and webhook support. It's continually getting new updates and adding new features. Imagine a widget that pushes updates to your app the moment something happens without you lifting a finger. Whether you're building a subscription service, live chat assistance, or automated follow-up sequences. PayMeGPT is shaping up to give creators full control over their IP and their data, plus a path to real sales revenue. And of course, the discussion on all these new additions being added to PayMeGPT took us down that terrifying road of APIs and webhooks and endpoints and all of those scary terms that most of us no-code builders aren't really confident in using. But coming to these sessions and talking with other builders, especially those that are actually using some of these things in real-world cases that they can show us and tools that they've built, and we see how they're used and when they're used and why they're used, it makes a lot more sense. And so first thing, let's talk foundations. The APIs and webhooks, they're kind of the nuts and bolts that let different software talk to each other. An API, or application programming interface, is basically just the set of rules or protocols for how they communicate. Think of it like calling a restaurant. Jafir gave a great example. You call and you ask, is my food ready? That's a request. You follow the rules for asking, you make a specific request, they give you a specific response. The specific phone number that you use for that question like checking the order status. That's called an endpoint within the API. But then there are webhooks, and they're event-driven, which is the key difference. Instead of you calling the restaurant over and over, it's like the restaurant calling you as soon as the food is ready. An event happens. Your food's ready, and they push the information to you automatically. So it's proactive. Webhooks tell me something specific happened, like a new appointment getting booked or a purchase going through. There's no need for you to keep checking it. It delivers the info when the event occurs. And why this really matters for businesses, it goes more beyond just connecting app A and app B. It unlocks a different way of working. Imagine your tools sort of anticipating what needs to happen next, and the updates just flow automatically the second something changes. So you're not constantly checking. And of course, JSON is just the standard way that a computer structures that data so they can easily understand each other. Then the conversation kind of led into our deep dive on prompt engineering. One of the things we ran into when we were building that live flow was having to use prompt chaining. One prompt wouldn't do it. It wouldn't give us what we needed. We tested, went back and made some adjustments, tested again. We just couldn't get the HTML to format the invoice correctly. We decided to use prompt chaining, where we had one prompt that did the first job, putting all the custom fields in the proper place on the invoice, and then another prompt that actually took all of that once it was placed in there and created an HTML formatted document. And then another prompt that cleaned up that HTML before it sent it out to the email so that it was displayed properly. So prompt engineering is important. We talked about crafting prompts that drive decision-making logic, prevent hallucinations, and even orchestrate multiple LLMs in a single workflow. If you want your GPTs to do more than regurgitate info, to actually think through processes and guide users step by step, this is the skill set that you need. And I shared a sneak peek of my upcoming prompt engineering mastery course. Yeah, it's dropping next week, hopefully, and I've got a beta group of OG builders lined up to stress test each module. Then we wrapped up with a discussion on flow building best practices, using external request nodes, chaining API calls, handling error responses, and injecting webhooks. Charles and Mir volunteered to demo their latest creations in upcoming sessions. And you know, Diana's always ready to throw down a challenge. And of course, everyone chimed in on how much they appreciate the camaraderie that we have and we've built in this group, and reiterate that this community is a safe space for collaboration, for asking the tough questions, and for celebrating each other's wins. So there you have it. City-scale automations, lawn care invoices on autopilot, the future of monetized GPTs, and a masterclass in prompt engineering. And a sneak peek on our weekly live builds. If any of this sparked an idea for your own projects, let me know, and I love hearing how you turn these strategies into real-world solutions. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.